Bonjour and welcome to the Urban Parle Podcast. I'm your host, Sandra Dubose, and we are celebrating today. What are we celebrating? We're celebrating Pride Month, LGBTQIA, Pride Month. Now, don't ask me what the rest of those letters are for at the end because those are new. I'm not up on it, but I have a wonderful guest today on the Urban Parle Podcast. And let me just tell you something about this sister right here whom I absolutely love and adore. I've known her, I think we met in 2009. It's been several years, but we live far away, so I don't get to see her often, but we do keep up on Facebook. And she's had some transitions in her life over the years. And so I asked her if she would come and share with us and teach us, give us some insight, dispel some myths. For people who don't know, you about to learn today. So we just gonna get into it. So without further ado, I want to bring to the stage my beautiful friend. This is Julia Mack Crittenden.
Yes.
Welcome, sis, to the Urban Parle Podcast.
Thank you.
Hey, woo!
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It's just good to see your beautiful face and those dimples that I'm always so jealous of. I'm just like, why my dimples don't do like her do? They don't do like that. They don't do like that.
But you have them though.
I do. I do. I gotta work hard. I gotta hold my mouth a certain way to, you know what I'm saying? You gotta do one of those.
Yes.
But they're in there. They're definitely in there. So let me just give people a little background about how we actually met. So Julia and I both have alopecia. Now I know you can't see hers now because she is experiencing some hair growth and you're looking fabulous.
Hold on.
Okay, okay, on the sides you got little spots. Okay, got you.
Okay.
Okay, got you. But she's rocking, yeah, but she's rocking that mohawk to camouflage. So that joint looks great. It looks great.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, but unfortunately for me, I have alopecia universalis. So my hair story is over. This is it. I'm Wakanda forever, 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 ever, forever, ever, ever. But back in 2008, when I started to advocate for alopecia awareness, and I started to look on the internet and see what women were out there sharing their stories so that I could learn more information and connect with people. Julia was one of the first people that I saw. And I was like, oh my God, this sister is gorgeous. At the time, you had no hair at all. She was just rocking dimples and some lip gloss and some big earrings. And I said, yes, indeed. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And so we connected over the internet because she was doing a lot of work, as she does still, supporting women with alopecia. And then we had an opportunity to meet when I was the keynote speaker at the Alopecia Areata Foundation's yearly conference, and that was in Texas. So that was in 2009, and so that's when we actually met face to face. And I don't know if you remember this, Julia, when we first met, and then it was me and you, and I think it was a bunch of other Black women, right?
Yeah.
And we came upon one another, and when we saw each other, we just were looking at each other like, we're beautiful. We like seeing each other helped us to really see how beautiful we were as individuals, and we all just started to cry and hug. Do you remember that moment?
Yes, I remember because it was in front of your booth.
Yes. My former boo,
Booth. Booth. I was saying your
oh,
booth.
my booth. Oh, Booth. Okay, yes. Okay, let's clarify just in case anybody's, watching. Ain't no rings on me. But anyway, go on now.
Remember, yes, I remember because I remember the emotional moment that we all had, and
Yeah,
that was that, because normally, because we're thinking about the foundation, we're thinking, oh, okay, yeah, we're coming together, and there's going to
right.
be other people that look like us, but there were other people that look like
Look like us, look like us.
us. And it
Yes.
was so amazing. And so we took that picture. I
Right.
remember taking that picture, and that just triggered so much for me, and especially like in our community,
Yeah.
and how we just hide from it. Because I remember that that's where they felt comfortable was,
Right.
just being there. There were some, I think there was one that didn't feel as comfortable with
Right.
taking off her wig, but eventually she did finally
Yes.
take it off. But that's what moved the movement, at least for me,
Sure.
to make people feel really, especially us women and then us brown women, but to
Yes.
make people feel like you're beautiful,
Right.
you are beautiful. And
Yeah.
I, put together those promotions, the billboards,
Right.
and then started taking photos. I
R-
mean, like I literally started taking these photos with my bald head on purpose because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, no, this is we're doing this. It's going to be a positive thing. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
Don't feel sorry for me.
Right.
Like this is who I am.
Yeah. And I embrace it.
So that was just I
Yeah.
still remember that.
Me
Yes,
too.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I go back to that moment, and I've since have been able to create that opportunity and experience for other women by
Yeah.
bringing women together, support that are dealing with alopecia, and it happens every time, Julia. I know you know what I'm talking about. When we come together and we see one another, it's
Mhm.
just the awakening where everybody just starts to sit up a little bit straighter. You know what I mean? It's like we're walking on the set of Wakanda. We're all standing there, soldiers, like, girl,
Exactly.
bye, lacking nothing, lacking nothing.
Right.
So yeah, so that was how we met, and we've stayed together and connected ever since. And so, just to give you a little bit more information about Miss Julia, she is a private investigator. Okay, so don't do nothing crazy, because I will call my girl and we will find out what's going
Okay.
okay. Officially, we got all kind of contraptions.
Yes.
Okay, she's a private investigator, which is a new accomplishment. Didn't you just do that like over the pandemic? You just like
Yes, that was the crazy thing, right?
what were
Because
you doing during the pandemic?
okay, so I am a city official, right?
Okay.
So so working at the health department and during the pandemic with COVID, uh, I was seeing so much death. I mean, for the first 4 months of COVID, I know I cried every week.
Okay.
I cried every week because there was someone or multiple people just dying, right?
Yes.
And then on top of that, not being able to see my mother.
Right.
There were so many things that were happening that I was just like, dang, like life it really is too short,
It is. It
And so
is.
I started thinking about like, what is it that you want to do? And go do it. Okay.
Right.
So I started looking back at, I've always wanted to be a police officer, and I'm not going to be a police officer.
Okay.
Bravo to the ones that are out there,
Right.
my good ones,
Right.
okay.
Right. That part.
um, but it's like a detective. I wanted to be like the detective, not just the police. I wanted to be a detective. So
Right.
closest thing to being a detective was a private investigator. So when I was in my late 20s, that's one of the things that I remember putting this down in a notebook, like all the goals that I wanted to accomplish in this lifetime, and private investigating was one.
Right.
But that was in my late 20s. I'm like 47 now. So
Right.
anyways, I revisited that basically, and I was like, okay, so it's time to get it cracking, Julia. So
Yes.
you got work, you got your kids, your grandma. So what can you do? What can
Yeah.
you do?
For you.
And I said, you know what? I started looking into being a private investigator, which I have been doing over the course of some years anyways, but I
Right.
just never did it,
Right.
that procrastination, putting stuff off. And I sat down and I said, you know what? Let's do it. So I did what I had to do as far as, sending off for whatever and sending the fees. And then I had like 60 days to go through and study this 200-page manual that had no
Wow.
pictures in it.
Power to you. Power to you.
Just a lot of laws,
Yes.
so it was a lot. It was a lot. So I had 60 days to do that. And I was about to run out, but at any rate, I studied, did what I needed to do,
Yeah.
and took the test, and I passed it. I was there, and they said you passed, and I cried, and I was like,
Good.
yes, because this is what I wanted. but yeah, so I did that. But on top of that, Sandra, I was like, I started a master's program. Who does that in the middle of a pandemic? So like, I'm working this pandemic, right?
Wow.
I'm studying
Wow.
this private investigating, right? I'm going to be this private investigator. But I was like, so, but I need something to enhance that. You know what I'm saying? So I just got my bachelor's degree. So this is what I'm going through in my mind.
Right.
Just now, because time is of the essence. Like life is
Yes.
short. I need to get on it right now. And that's
Right.
how I was thinking. So you know what? I'm going to get my master's. I'm going to get my master's. I'm going to get it in cybersecurity, and I'm doing it now.
Oh
I'm in
my
a
God.
bachelor's program too. So, but that's only to enhance my private investigating business, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
whatever else. But yeah, so
This
it's
is,
crazy, but it's okay. It's
yeah.
I'm not, I'm not jumping around because it is.
Oh,
I'm very strategically,
it's
doing
working
what I
together.
need to do exactly.
And you know what? That's one of the things I've always loved about you and why we've always, had that good vibe, because we're both 47 years old and we're women on the grind. We are passionate. There's something that we want to do, we go out and we do it. And I love that what you were able to take away from the pandemic was that sense of urgency to
Yes,
say, you know what, it's time to really take this pain that I'm feeling, use that as my source of power to drive me towards my goals. So I'm just super proud of you because sometimes it just takes that where, now that your kids are older, and by the way, you have three children
agree.
that are 27, 20, and 16 years old, which you don't look like none of that just happened. So I'm still confused. And you're a grandmother.
A
Come
girl,
on here, somebody.
I'm an umi. I'm an umi.
She's a whole umi. How does that work?
Yes, grandmother in Nigerian,
I
right?
love that.
He
Umi.
has it now too. He's like a year old, but he's
Uh,
so cute. Oh my
I
god.
love that. And so, but now it's your season. So it totally makes sense, right? You've given, you've given, you've given. And now it's time for you to finish becoming the woman that you've always wanted to be. So let's talk a little bit about that. So, which is the main course on the top on the
Yes.
table on today. So, when I met you, Julia, at the time we were both married
Mhm.
and we had that in common, our husbands, our children, and all that kind of stuff. But over the years I've seen that you have since divorced, and now you have shifted and you have a beautiful woman in your life. And I was just like, okay, she had not told me nothing. Ain't nobody told me nothing. so,
He didn't even do.
so I wanted to, if you could share with us your journey. Like, how did we get here? And the reason, here's the thing. The thing that I was so passionate about covering this topic on the show is that it seems like this is something that's trending, right? You're just one of the people. I know several people who've made that transition in their life, but you're the one that I was like, I got to get Julia because I know she going to dish, she going to tell me what's really going on,
Real with the real,
what's the real out in these streets. Okay, because like I said, I've been divorced for 7 years and I've been single ever since. I've had situationships, but girl, that ain't even nothing to talk about. But in terms of a relationship, I've not been in a relationship. So what I'm seeing and what I'm finding sitting in this seat at 47, and what we're seeing in the world is that we're seeing a lot of women that are making this shift to be in same sex relationships. I'm really fascinated by Niecy Nash and her stories, who's an actor and a comedian who
yeah.
really shocked the world because she has, like you, three children. She's been married twice, and then it's like all of a sudden she comes out, she's married to Jessica Betts, and they're happily ever after. I follow her on Instagram and she's just like glowing like a teenager every single day. And I'm just like, okay, is this trending? Am I missing something? Was there a memo or an email and it's in my junk box or something and I missed it? Like, what is going on? So
You know,
please.
you know what the beautiful thing. Let me just touch on Niecy Nash and
Okay.
her marriage is so wonderful because like literally she is the example of I found someone that it's just love. It's just I am in love. It is not about what gender this person has.
Yeah.
Like she's just truly in love with that person and infatuated and just to the core of her soul. And that was just beautiful. Not that she wasn't just caught up on, oh, okay, well, okay, now I got a divorce and now I just got to go. And I don't even think she was looking to be in a relationship. It was just that this person was treated her with the utmost respect. I'm sure. It's not like that's my best friend.
Right. Let's text her and ask her. Hey, Niecy. Right.
But the fact that she just found somebody that she, just like you would do in any other type of relationship, in a heterosexual relationship.
Sure.
You find a guy that you connect with and that's there, and you all go do stuff, and then you start a relationship. Like she totally did that with, I'm sure, with her. I mean, just hearing her on the
Red Table Talk.
Right. I think that's just a beautiful example of I just love who I love. And, God is love, and love, it's love, like.
So tell me.
Just on love. So as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, because last we talked, you were married to this beautiful, handsome, chocolatey man, the father of your children.
Yes.
Okay. What part did I miss?
The part that everyone missed. And it's so funny because everyone missed it except those that really knew me, So
yes.
So it's, of course, it's something that, what do we do? Normally when we realize something about ourselves early on and it doesn't align with, the household or the religion or something, it's just outside of the norm.
Yeah.
Then we shut that down.
Okay. We suppress it. Would you say suppress? Is
exactly.
That okay?
Exactly. So in 7th grade, 6th, 7th grade, when I'm like looking at, everyone, I look at the beauty, and what's a beautiful thing about me, of course, I'm going to say this, is that I see the beauty in everyone, right?
Okay.
So if there's a fine dude in front of me, I'm going to say, you fine. Okay. Like you but if there's a fine woman in front of me, you fine.
Okay. Sure.
So those feelings came up very early in my childhood. Okay. And that is just something that was just, at the time, I didn't know what label to put on it, because I just didn't know. Right. And I knew that it was different.
Okay.
I knew that it was different. And I knew that I didn't want to be different. Like,
Sure.
Like, so that's something I just put away. Like it didn't come with a label. I didn't know what it was until I actually got into high school.
Okay.
So that's when I was like, oh, okay. And then even someone told me, there's a rumor going around that you're gay. And I was like, what? Whatever. Because I was already a tomboy, like from birth.
Were you really? No way.
Oh yeah. Oh, whew. So when that happened, then I think the Julia, 5.0 with the tight skirts, the little mini skirts, and me hanging around all these dudes, and then it turned into, from the gay to Julia need to get her own man, because all these guys, and they were just my friends,
Right, sure.
I vibe with them, those was like, what's up?
Yeah.
The lockers with like 4 of them, right?
Okay.
So that's they were like, she's effing around with everybody in the school or whatever.
Okay.
And I'm like, they just don't know. Like inside, I know who I am, right? Okay. They are talking about a person that is still a virgin until the end of her senior year. All these rumors.
Sure.
You don't know, right?
Right.
So, but I had to put on this front because I was like, oh, that gay word is a bad word,
Okay.
I knew they were touching on something. Yeah. I do find these, these girls attractive or whatever, but sure. I had to close that down too. And then of course
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. So, did you grow up in a religious background, and was it your family life that was very clear that this is wrong, don't do it, or what made you feel like? Because again, we're 47 years old, so we going back. We ain't talking about
Yes.
2021. You know what I'm saying? We got to take it back a little bit to the culture during that time where it wasn't as prideful as it is today and
Right.
celebratory. Right? Like
Right.
people were literally getting beat up. There was an AIDS epidemic. There was a lot of stigma and negative energy around that. So was it just the social aspect that gave you that fear, or was it your family? Where was that energy
It
coming
was
from?
it was more the social aspect because let me tell you something. My mom, even though she was religious,
Mm,
look, but God loves you. She is just this. She loves Christ, right?
yeah.
So it wasn't like I saw her like bashing someone else. Like I
Okay.
saw her saying something about someone else. Like I have an Uncle Jerry and Uncle Raj.
Hmm.
They're two white men. Okay,
Hmm.
I'm brown. My mom raised us around my Uncle Jerry and Uncle Raj,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
It didn't even dawn on me until I was in high school that, oh, Uncle Jerry, Uncle Rod, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
wow, okay, we, those are our people.
Yes.
Like, so even though she's like this religious or that she has this religious background,
She's
it,
accepting.
she was very accepting, you
Hmm.
know, she was very accepting and loving, and we didn't see because of her, I attribute like my the way that I look at people to her because
Yes.
she did not judge, she just loved
She
on people.
lived she lived her Christian lifestyle.
She
She
did.
lived it out for
She
real.
still does, and she
Yes.
still does. So
Okay.
it's really more the social aspect because of what was going on, and what was happening in
In that
our
era.
community, right in that
Hmm.
era. And I could say that was my community, but yes, and what was happening during
Yeah.
that time. So it was more of that than anything. I felt different in high school. That I felt different when I was in middle school. Realized it in high school, but then was like, because all this stuff is going on,
Sure.
I need to stay right here, you
Keep it
know,
safe. Keep it safe.
safe. And then I just need to make sure that I go on to, have a good man and
It's
have
normal. It's normal life, right?
that.
So tell me about when you met your husband and your decision did you make a conscious decision to say, I acknowledge this attraction to women. However, I am choosing to live a heterosexual lifestyle, which is what I find a lot of people are doing, right? I meet a lot of men that are very effeminate, and it's like you can tell that there's definitely an openness there, but they may be choosing to lead a heterosexual lifestyle because of whatever their reasons are. But the reality is that there's this whole other energy that they're like suppressing, whether it's a religious belief or whatever the case may be. So what was happening inside of you when you decided to get married and become a mom and follow that path?
Well, yeah, I made that decision like like I consciously made that decision like the year that the end of my senior year,
Hmm.
with the only person that knew who I was,
Hmm.
and I was like, you know what, you're gonna have to show me what I'm gonna have to do. Like when he took because the whole virginity thing, like
Okay.
happened. So I was like, you're gonna have to, if I'm gonna live this life, then you're gonna have to show me what I need to do.
Okay.
And that's what happened. And so and
What?
that's that. And then I was like, okay, so now I know how to do it with men. Okay, so we can keep that rolling. And that's basically what I did. Like I really, before I entered into the whole marriage thing, I think I mistreated. I believe I did. I mistreated myself.
Okay.
Did myself very wrong, in trying to prove to myself that this is the life that you need to live. This
Wow.
is what it takes.
Yeah.
It takes to be a woman. Like you gotta have dudes and guys and this and that. You got to do. It was horrible.
I
I look back
understand.
at that and I'm still saddened by that.
Yeah, I
Still.
feel that. I feel that. I do.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
do.
But when I met my ex-husband, it was crazy because it was off a prank phone call. So it was crazy because I pranked him. I was pranking him, thinking, telling him that I was like some girl on campus or whatever, and I saw him, and I was really like calling him because some other girl told me to call him to see if he would even talk to me, which he did.
Right.
And then like that's literally how it's set up, because here in Kentucky there's that little southern swing, the twang.
Yeah.
So, and I'm from Ohio, so of course there's that northern. Apparently, she had already told him about me, but so he knew it was me. So
okay.
we started talking, and the rest is like literally history. Like we started talking, we went out, and then like we had like this moment where I was, basically still doing my thing or whatever.
I don't know what that means. What is
okay. I was still like, looking, guys. I'm still accepting the whole guy thing. So I wasn't like faithful,
Okay, got you. So, but you were at that point, you were only with men though. You had not been with women?
Only with men.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so I ended up having my son by another man, right?
Okay.
And then within about a few months after that, he and my ex-husband and I started talking again.
Okay.
And from that moment forward, like we were like best friends. We started out best friends, and then we ended up getting married, and then we had 2 more kids, and we were together for 22 and a half years.
You were married for 22
and a half years. Here's the thing though, going into the relationship though.
Yeah.
The only that friend part of the relationship
with your husband,
with he knew that I was bisexual.
Did
he? Because here's the thing, bisexual is a safe. For me, yeah. I'm not going to say that is safe for anyone else, but for me that was safe to say, because it's like, but I'm choosing you. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm bisexual, but I'm choosing you though. So we good, right? Okay. He didn't really think anything of it. It was something that didn't manifest into anything, Okay. He was just like, oh, okay, like whatever.
Right.
Let's keep it moving.
Okay.
And so yeah, it never came up again for us, right?
Yeah.
But as I continued to live my life, I started getting involved more into the LGBT community. I started volunteering. I was on the board of our local fairness board, and as I continued to surround myself with my community, yeah. Right, I felt this. I was very sad. Very sad, because it was like I had this person in me, like the Julia in me saying, oh, let me out. What are you doing?
Right.
Let me out. And that's what it was. I just wanted to just burst out, and and that basically turned into me crying. Like,
you're making me cry. I'm like, let her out. I'm crying for you.
that turned into me literally. I was crying like all the time in the shower. The shower was the safest place for me to cry because there was water already running. Right?
Girl, don't we know it? That's where mamas cry. Mamas cry in the shower.
Mamas cry in the shower. Right?
Yes, we do.
So, and that's what it turned into. And I was just, it was so overwhelming.
It was your time. It was your time to just.
Yes. It was so overwhelming. And I wanted to just be at this point.
Did you just want to be free?
I wanted to be free.
Okay.
I needed him at this point. because he was my best friend.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was like, this man knows everything about me.
Yeah.
Doesn't like me saying I'm bisexual was not me really being truthful with him.
Right.
Um, and I finally, it was probably like 2 years before we even got a divorce because our transition was a very beautiful transition.
Was it?
Yeah. But I told him, like, we literally sat down and I told him that, you know what, I know I told you this, but I'm really, this is who I really am.
So do you identify as just being gay now? Like,
I'm
I
just,
don't,
see
I'm sorry.
that I don't even like tags, but I'm a lesbian.
You're a
Yes.
lesbian. Okay.
Yes. Hands down, you know,
Okay.
and it's not like, because I know that guys kind of go through this whole thing like, did I not please you, or
Right. That was the, go
it's
ahead.
not a sex thing. It's not
a sex thing.
Because we mentally, like, women can do anything. We're like superheroes, right?
That's true. That's true.
We can fix our minds to, okay, this is going to be pleasing to me. So, it's going to be pleasing. It's going to be pleasing. That's what it is. This is what we got to do,
Right.
And that's what I did. So it's not like, it wasn't that, like, I had to tell him that it wasn't even a sex. It's not about sex. It's about me connecting with it's just who I am. It's not even me connecting with someone else. It's just who I was,
Okay, I have a question. So that season where you had this awakening and you wanted to be free, was it because you met someone in that community that awakened that? Or was it just your own awakening from being amongst the culture and the vibe and the energy that was like, yes, yes, and yes? So which...
It was that. It was because I was around it so much and I was like, God, yes, oh my God. I would see things. I'm like, so I would be crying. Yes, yes. Okay, but here's what happened. So I'm and it's still around, but the executive director of Generation I Speak is a youth literacy organization that I created for when my son was like 15 years old, and then we like created this little community of young writers, and we took them to California, took them to this festival called Brave New Voices.
Mm-hmm.
And at that, it was the second Brave New Voices that we went to, that these young people were on the stage bearing their souls. And this young lady got up on the stage and she was talking about how who she was, and that she was lesbian, that she didn't say it, like that or anything, sure. But the words that were coming out of her mouth and her just being who she was, and this is who I am, and I'm just sitting down there as a mother, and because she's young, and I'm looking up there like, oh my, this, girl, yes, that's my baby up there. That was my child up there, because I literally have my child there, sure. Right. At the festival, and I was so proud of her. I was sitting up there like, and I'm thinking to myself like, I am at the time 30-something years old, and I am not. She's so evolved. What about me? Like, this is literally going in through my brain as she's doing this. Like, she's bearing her soul, and I can't even do that. I'm grown, and I can't even bear my soul. Like, all of this that I am feeling, and I can't do it. Why can't I do that? What is going on with me? So I'm going through all of that. All the while, the coach that I brought with me, one of the chaperones, she's literally going through the same thing, right? It was okay. She was saying, yes, yes. So when the young lady comes off the stage, we're like right there at the end of the stage, and we're hugging her like, I am so proud of you. Oh, so proud of you. We're crying. Yeah. Like, thank you, giving her all that support, because she broke down on the stage. Sure. So we're like supporting her. And then the coach and I hugged, right? And then she was like, and she's just crying and everything. And she was like, I love women too. I know your audience can't see me, but I'm hugging her, right? Mind you, she's beautiful, right?
Oh.
I was already sharing a room with her, right? And
Wow.
and I recognize that. I mean, she's beautiful, period.
Yes.
I already knew that, right?
Right.
I'm hugging her, and I'm like,
Oh.
everything in me was like, okay, did she just say what I just think she said?
She
Wait a
said
minute.
it.
Wait. I'm like, hold up. And so I'm beside her ear, and I literally look at her like, she just did not say this. Did she just say this?
Yeah.
So then right there, my mind started going like, oh my goodness, because I didn't really know her,
Yeah, right.
She was, I sent a message out to over 200 plus English teachers in the community in our school system here, because I needed an actual writing coach to help these kids. I had an organization, but I didn't have the skills to do what I needed to happen, right?
Sure.
So she was literally the only one to write back. She was the only one to hit me back and say, hey, can we meet? And I was like, yeah. So she became the coach. She became the writing coach. And she, for 2 years, went on these trips. This was the second year.
Yeah.
And so this second year, this came out. So I've known her over the course of the whole year, and was kind of business like, oh yeah. I never dismissed the fact that this is a beautiful woman,
Sure.
like, oh my God.
Right.
And all my tomboyish, that's the one thing that I never changed, even when I was married. Like, I'm a basketball short, some flip flops, and and a beater,
Okay.
So that's normally how I am anyways.
Okay.
And so I started to put together the fact, because I didn't know her, right? That was safe. I didn't know her.
Right.
So in my brain, I said, this is safe, because now she just said what she said. Yeah. We're in this space. I need to talk to her.
Okay.
Right. And so I was like, hey, like, we didn't even really talk for real.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, would you mind going to lunch, after this? And she was like, okay, cool. That's fine. And then on her side of the story, she's thinking like, why is she even asking me this? Right. But we get to lunch, and I start to unpack the fact that what she said.
Yeah.
And then I started talking about our girls in the group that had a piece that talked about a gay relationship, right? Sure.
Yeah.
See, I'm still trying to fill her out at this point. Because I wanted to fill her out, because I'm about to say something that I had never
said.
Besides, and I can say that I have never said, because even though the guy that took my virginity, like, he understood, right? I just never said it. Like, those words just never came out my mouth, right? But it came to the point, and I was like, okay, so you said that you love women too. And she was like, yes. And then so she started expressing that, and she unpacked it, and she said what she had to say. And I said, I love women too. Like, I love women too. I was like, basically I'm gay. Like, I love women. Like, I came out to her.
Yeah, right.
I came out to her. And she basically came out to me. Like, wow. It was like, but and that day was just full of, it took me back to literally to middle school. We were running up the street talking like there was not a care in the world. We had kids there. Like, we didn't have kids in Berkeley. Like, we are like skipping up and down the street, like literally skipping up and down the street.
So happy.
Like, oh my God. So what did it? And we started comparing stories. Like, what did you think? What did you feel? What did you do? And how did you? I mean, it was so much. Wow. It was so much. Like, from middle school up until 30 something years old, like I don't even have any experiences to tell you or whatever.
Right.
What I can tell you are all of my feelings and what this feels like and how this felt to me and the emotions that, but it was like we were kids.
So question. So was she living a heterosexual lifestyle herself? She was married. She was married at the time as well.
Yes.
And so she has children as well.
Yes, she has a son.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So
Okay, keep talking.
yeah,
Like I just this is so eye-opening. I seriously, and this is the thing why this conversation is so important, because people speculate, right? And when you don't know, you fill in the blanks with all kinds of ridiculousness of what you think might be happening. And so I think especially those who are very religious or have all of these um opinions about everybody else's life and what God feels and thinks and allows and this, that, and the third. And you're allowed to have your own opinions. But at the end of the day, we're all human and we're all God's children.
yes,
And my belief is that we all are deserving of love,
yes,
period, point blank. And so, whatever that looks like and feels like for you, I feel like everybody deserves to have that. So I'm just like enjoying, your experience of I get it. When you feel connected to
yeah,
someone, to when you find someone that you have that bond and that you can legitimately have that joy
right,
and feel like you can be authentically who you are, that's accepted, and not only that, it's appreciated, it's celebrated, it's loved, and
exactly,
you find your person. I mean, what that God is love. How can he not be found in the midst of something so beautiful?
exactly.
So I'm loving this. So I do have a question.
Sure.
Um, Talk to me about, um, and you two are still together today.
Yeah, so we didn't get together at that
You two,
moment. Like that was, but
okay.
that was the because oh, the ball is rolling
The
now,
ball is rolling. Okay, got
right?
you. Yeah.
Like I can not like that was that Julia. All those times that Julia was crying in the
Don't make me cry. I just put these eyelashes on, girl. You gonna mess me up. All right, I'll cry them off with you. All right.
but
Go
all
ahead.
those times that that was me. That was me that wanted to get out. That moment that I replay over and over again. When I tell you that we were skipping, that was that Julia. That was me inside, just like let me out, let me out, and I was out. I was out, and it was felt so good. It felt so good, and so the ball was rolling,
Right.
right? So it's like, there's no way I can get back in. I can't go back in. I
Sure.
can't do
Why would you want to?
that.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
So that is when I made the decision to finally tell, during
Yeah.
that, some time had, gone by or whatever. And that
Hmm.
is the time that I decided to tell him.
Yeah. Yeah. How
And
did?
we did a video,
Uh,
like my husband at the time, we did this video with the kids,
oh.
and it was my coming out story.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah. So he was like, yeah, Jay just came and we just had this conversation, and she told me that, and I was like, I'm gay. This is on this video that we like posted on Facebook. That was my coming out to everyone else.
Oh no way. I thought you meant to the kids.
Yeah, no, like I talked to them. So like I
Okay.
came to them, and then I talked to my kids, and then we made this video.
Oh my God.
So this video tells about my coming out, tells basically that I'm coming out to the
The
world.
world. Wow. Wow. Wow.
But
Wow.
the real reason for that video is that you can see my strong family behind me,
Oh.
loving on me unconditionally. And that was the reason for that, right? It was to tell other people that you can't break this. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to follow our lead. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was he to this day is still like that.
I
To this
love that.
day, you
I love
follow
that.
our lead. Because I love her. These are our kids. My kids were like, I love my mom, but you follow us. You're gonna have to transform to what we do over here,
Oh
right?
wow. Wow.
So that was amazing. So
Yes.
after God, ooh Lord, just thinking about that, just all of that is just
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so powerful. I think the saddest thing for me, as I guess I would be considered an ally, I'm not a lesbian, I'm not bisexual, but I am passionate about my people and the people that I love, and I always surrounded by, as an artist, I'm always surrounded by, the community. They're all like my besties, and you know what I mean? And I get to see who these people are and feel into their love and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely a strong ally. I'm all for
And I
love.
appreciate you. I appreciate
Yeah,
you.
no doubt, definitely. Because my thing is, I'm a whole rebel. If it was me, if I felt that way, I would be expressing it too. So I
Right.
feel that. So when you say be free, whether it was us, being bald and not wearing wigs or whatever decisions we've made, we're just those kind of women that we have to be authentically who
Yeah.
we are. At the end of the day, we really can't do it
Yeah.
any other way, not for a long period of time anyway. At some point it's got to you're
Yeah.
gonna find out what's really going on, because that's what makes us who we are, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely connect to that. But what always breaks my heart is that, especially in counseling, so many young teenagers that are struggling with their identity, they don't always have that strong family support system, so that's why we're dealing with, suicide rates on the rise, and depression and anxiety, and all of the things, and low self-esteem that our young people are dealing with, because in their search they don't always have that foundation of unconditional love that they deserve.
Yeah.
Even while they're in the midst of figuring it out, there should still be that family base of people that love you for who you are, no matter what that looks like.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't have that, and that breaks my heart. It
Yeah.
really, really breaks my heart. So I'm so glad that you were able to have that level of leadership for your children. Like, how amazing that must have felt for you, and how
Yeah.
powerful that must have been for everybody to even see that video. Like, we're shifting now, but we're still a unit. There's still love, and our love is unconditional, it's real, and it's unbreakable, even in the midst of new information and new realizations and new identities. We're still riding on this love
Yeah.
train. So kudos to you and your family
Thank you.
for showing up and being leaders, in this community. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I
What
do
do
know. Go ahead.
no, what were you gonna say?
No, I do know that kind of backtracking, I'm coming out, right? Came out,
Mm-hmm.
and my brother, I made a statement where I was like, I just want to make sure that you're gonna love me after I tell you what I'm gonna tell you. And
Yeah.
he said, "What you gonna tell me you gay?" And I was like, "So I told you, people knew."
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? People knew. They
Okay.
just, it's like one of those hush hush. Long
Re-
as you don't say nothing, we ain't gonna say nothing. You
sure. You right. Okay. So tell me about your mom.
Exactly. So that is even though my mom, you know, brought us up to just love
Yeah.
um, but the difference is that when it becomes one of your own,
Yeah.
something is very different then. So what was accepting to her then
Mm.
was not as accepting. She was not happy.
Is that right?
She was not happy because
Okay.
she saw other it it just wasn't that's not her plan. That wasn't
Yeah.
her plan. And then of course when she says it's not God's plan,
Hmm.
you know.
Sure.
And so that has been some years because I came out when I was 39. I'm 47 now.
Okay.
So now I am with that coach.
Yes. Right.
I am with that coach
Mm-hmm.
that I came out to,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a beautiful thing.
Is it
Um,
beautiful?
it
Is it?
really is,
Yeah.
and now my mom is. She told me. She said, "You just had to give me some time."
Okay.
I
That's
think at
fair.
that age, she said, "You just had to give me some time." And so she's still not there 100%,
Yeah.
but she is loving. She is very loving to my partner now,
Mm.
fiance. She's my fiance.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Congratulations.
I proposed to her like 3 years ago.
Did
Like,
you?
funny because I'm like, we're not gonna be the typical U-Haul lesbians. You know, that's what they call like.
What did you call it?
When lesbians connect, there's this saying about U-Haul lesbians, like once you once you find someone, you're like
you move in. That's a good one.
like backing up.
Right.
It's so funny because I of course I proposed to her like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're finally, making the move here this fall. So
yeah,
it's gonna be exciting. It's really gonna be exciting to call, because I gotta have a wife, That's so beautiful.
It is.
It's rolling off my tongue. Okay, so anyways.
Wow.
My mom is again not as
excited,
but she loves.
Yeah.
And I love her. And she is, I can't, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But
so
what I've learned to do is just live. I have to live for myself.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is my journey.
That's right.
This is mine. And as long as my babies are taken care of and they understand and realize that they have a life to live and they have a journey to travel as well, we good.
We're good.
We're good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, the people that really love you, they'll love you regardless. You know what I mean? That's when life happens, you find out who really does love you, who's really in your corner for you. Because part of the journey of growing up and maturing and becoming is being unapologetically yourself. And realizing that might disappoint some people who had their own ideal of what that's supposed to look like.
Right.
And I think as a mother, even I've learned that lesson even all the more when my children do things that are out of the box from what I perceived that they would be or do. And it's like, where's this? I did not raise you that way. Well, it's like I do not own, I'm the conduit for these human beings, you know what I mean? To bring this spirit into the world. And I teach them what they need to know foundationally. And after that, it's best between them and God, who they decide to become and unpack and figure out who all is in there. And I'm learning who they are just like they're learning themselves. So it's a very humbling experience. And it really is the opportunity to love like Christ loved.
Yes.
Without condition.
Yes.
Without condition and without judgment.
Exactly.
So here's
they missed that. They missed that all.
They missed that scripture. They missed that passage right now. That's okay. That's okay. We have grace for them. But I'm so proud of you. I'm seriously so freaking proud of you because I can feel the joy and the peace and the love. And as your friend, that's all I want for you, sis. For real and for real. Because that's what I want for myself. You know what I'm saying? So I want that for you. It's like we all deserve to have that. So as we're closing, I want you to tell us, I know there's so many people that can relate to your experience, man or woman, right? They might have been struggling. They might have had whatever their story might be. Is there any piece of wisdom and advice now that you're on the other side? You're free, you're enjoying, you are engaged, you about to be married. I'm be following you on Instagram, watching y'all be all happy and I'm be over here single. Like, where's mine? But where's your groomsman though? You ain't got nobody on that line for me. What's up? Hook us up, okay? But what advice would you give to someone who might be on that same path and too afraid to come out and struggling? What advice would you give to them now that you are here and enjoying your life?
Here's the thing. I guess especially if they are my age.
Okay.
And I say that because at my age, I know that it's still not as, it's easier now. We see our community on commercials now. We see things different, right? It's different. Yeah. So there are still people that are still hemmed up at this moment in their 40s.
Oh yeah.
Right? In their 40s, 50s. Because they're scared to release
Right. Yes. Right.
their inner being,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And really, it really does boil down to, we have this one life. We
Mm-hmm.
have just this one life,
Mm-hmm.
and we live, we die. Right? We're born, we live, we die. And what we do in between that is in that living, I mean, it really does come down to, like, what is it that you want for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
We're so worried about other people and what other people think that we just totally like throw ourselves to the wolves, like, oh, and we want to please everyone else, and look and look like a certain, with our mask on,
With
right?
the
Like,
mask.
as long as we keep this looking good,
Sure.
around us is,
The
they're just
illusion.
good. They're good. As long as
Sure.
they keep this.
Right.
Everyone's different. Everyone's situation is different. It
Mm.
is. But I'm saying you got to live your life.
Okay.
You have to live the life for you.
That part.
Period. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing. You know, especially at this, like, I'm 47 years old. I don't care what you think about me.
Right.
Say about me. You
Sure.
know what I'm saying? But if I'm happy, you know, whoever makes me happy, she makes me happy. You
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
She loves me like to the core,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, then that's what I'm going to do. That's who I am,
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. You don't even have to be a part of my life, And
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people don't want to lose certain people in their lives, but I
Yeah.
think that they need to fire a test shot, because
Mm.
a lot of times when that happens, they'll see that person. They're like, they may be like, wait, but normally that test shot, they're gonna run, or they're gonna be like, what?
Right.
Let me stick around and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Let me stick around and see if such and such is safe or whatever. So I'm saying, fire a test shot. Be you. Be who you are, because
Mm-hmm.
you'll see that those people that you think that are gonna like flee, they're
Yeah.
gonna be right there. They're gonna, and half the time they already know. It's just good if you don't say anything. You know,
Yeah.
they
Sure.
already know. They
They
already.
already know. I love that. I fire a test shot.
Yeah.
You'll find out who's who.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people need that, because not until it's really tested do they say, "Yeah, I might be mad, but I still love you. I'll get over it." They'll figure it out. They will figure it
They
out.
try not to lose you.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it worth it? Is it worth it because she's not who or what I thought she should or was, or if she's changed her mind, or if she's decided to tell us what's really going on inside? That's her prerogative. And so I love that. I love the way you said that. Fire a test shot. You heard it here, y'all. Fire a test shot. If you didn't take anything away, if you are bound, fire a test shot. And I trust that love will show up. True
Yes.
love will always show up.
Yes.
How can people stay in contact with you?
What? Okay, so on my Instagram, I'm at the Julia Mack. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
it's JuliaMack. Because Crittenden is coming off,
Mm-hmm.
even though Google knows me as Crittenden, I am going back to my maiden name. So
Okay.
yeah, that's official. Actually, this week.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm at the Julia Mack,
Okay.
and then Julia
Mm-hmm.
talks with Julia. That's what it is. I'm sorry, I messed all that up. Talks with
Mm-hmm.
Julia.
Right.
Talks with Julia on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Talks with Julia.
Yeah. And Julia is also an author. She is a wellness coach, a motivational speaker, and you also still support women with alopecia. And again, you are my personal private investigator. So we're going to find out what the deal is.
Yes.
Listen, sis, I can't thank you enough. I can't express my happiness for you enough. And to all of the LGBTQIA community, absolutely have pride in who you are. Love
Yeah.
yourself. Be unapologetically you. God loves you. You are a child of God. And there is a community of people that love you and support you in your journey to love and happiness, which we all deserve. So, thank you, everybody, for listening. And thank you again, Julia. And congratulations to you and your fiance. I shall be
So,
following on Instagram because I want to see all the picturas and all that good stuff. So all the best to you, sis. And we'll
thank you.
stay connected. Absolutely. And for all of you listening, thank you so much for watching and for listening because this will be on YouTube. So check it out so you can see Julia's dimples that I'm so jealous of. Her beautiful face. And I will be with you again next week. This is your host, Sandra Dubose. I bid you adieu. I wish you peace and I wish you blessings.